What's up guys, License X here and welcome to a bit of a different type of video. Oh god, that sounds so cool. Hey there, I'm License X and as you saw from the title, in this video we are going to be recreating MKBHD's intro. I mean, yeah, one of them, the coolest, my personal favorite. Let's roll the intro. Okay, and here we are in the one and only Adobe After Effects. So this is what we are gonna make, and if you're wondering what the MW Tech is, it's my brother Minuk's YouTube channel. You can check him out after watching this video. The link will be in the description. Anyways, so you can see like there is a 3D mesh type effect going on, and there is a bit of a complex background with lines moving and a glitch effect at the end. So do not get scared. This is so easy to make. First of all, the usual way, start by creating a new composition. And I'm going to set the width to 1920, the height to 1080, and the frame rate to 30, duration to 10 seconds. And you can name the composition name whatever you want. I'm going to name it the Plexus intro. Now we are in a new composition, and go ahead and import your logo into the project panel. Create this 3D mesh effect, which is called the Plexus effect. First, you have to create a mask around the logo. So if you have already made this in Adobe Illustrator or something, then it is easy. So you just have to import the Illustrator file. But in this case, I have a JPEG. So for me, I have to go ahead and use the pen tool and draw the shape of the logo around it. If you're lazy like me, you have another very easy method. So you have to go ahead and search for the color key effect from the effects and presets. Set the key color to the background color, then increase the color tolerance so that it gives you a clean look where only the logo is remaining. Next, pre-compose it. We click and select pre-compose and make sure to select move all attributes in the new composition. And then after selecting your pre-composition, go to the layer panel and click on auto trace. Okay, here you can set these values and apply to new layer, then click OK. Now you can see it automatically traced your logo and created the shape layer for you. This is actually really awesome. So you know, these stuff are straight lines, but it has given you many points. The background removal of the logo has not been perfectly done, so to make those straight you might have to go to select the pen tool and then click Control and select the points and delete them, and like that you can do it for the whole logo. And this is how mine turned out. Okay, now that you have masked it, go ahead to Chrome and you have to download this plugin to get the 3D mesh effect. It is rawbyte.com/plexus. And here we are in the website, and you can get the free version by clicking on download, or you can click the buy now button to get the full version. This is not only used for this kind of effects, this is used for many really cool effects, so you can check them out by just typing Plexus effects on YouTube. Okay, now after downloading that, I think you might have to run the file. You can find it by searching Plexus on your effects and presets menu. Now drop it onto your layer. You might see that there is a new Plexus object panel open, and from that click add geometry and add the paths renderer and select path. As there are two masks in my logo, what I have to do is click on all masks and then type in mask 1. Do that again and then type in mask 2. If you have one mask or many masks, you might have to do that to every mask you have. Then for each and every mask, for my first mask, I'm going to select group 1, and the second one I'm going to select group 2. Click add effector and select noise. Okay, now go to your first frame, increase the noise amplitude, then go to about 1 second and 15 frames, set the noise amplitude to 0. Okay, next, to create this kinda fading out effect, I'm gonna make a keyframe at about 2 seconds to the point size, and after about 10 frames set the point size to 0. Okay, and at this point, if you didn't buy the Plexus plugin and instead if you downloaded it like me, you might see a huge red cross in front of your composition, which means you have to buy it. But instead of buying it, I know a simple way which you can remove it, and that is by pre-composing the layer after doing all the effects, and then you can name it Plexus logo. Search for the color key effect from the effects and presets library and set the key color to the color of the cross. Then bam, you can see the red cross is gone. Okay, now pre-compose the layer once again. I'm gonna call it Plexus color because we are gonna add some color to our effect. Now what you're gonna do is right click and create a new solid, and this is gonna be your background. So select whatever the color you want for your background, and then on the Plexus color layer, search for the fill effect from the effects and presets library and then drop it onto the layer. Now you can change the color to whatever you want, and I'm gonna change mine to red. Okay, and now that we are done with that, right click and create a new solid, which is I'm gonna make it black. You have to go back to the first shape that you created and then select all the masks from the end, paste it onto the new solid we just created. You can see that the solid has been masked out. Since my solid is black, you can see the logo in black. Now what you have to do is go and search for the stroke effect from the effects and presets library. Set the paint style to on transparent. Set the stroke color to red and set the path to all masks. Check on all masks and then stroke sequentially. Then you can increase the brush size, and I'm gonna put mine to about 4. Set a keyframe to start at about 1 second and 20 frames, and I'm gonna set it to 0. Back at 1 second and 10 frames, I'm gonna set the start value to 100. Okay, now you have to set keyframes to the plexus color layer so that it fades out once the stroke comes in. Okay, and you can see that I have added a fade out effect for the plexus color layer as the stroke completes. With that stroke, we have to reveal the logo. So go ahead and drop image of the logo onto the layer. So I'm gonna add the logo, and then once the stroke completes, it has to fade in. So set a keyframe at 0 at about 2 seconds and at 100 after a couple of frames, and this is how it looks. Then I'm gonna make the stroke fade out. So I'm gonna set a keyframe at the beginning 400 and then 0 at the end. So it looks pretty good up for now. And now we have to add a text for the name of the YouTube channel. So for that, make sure you hit Y on your keyboard and then change the anchor point of your logo to the top. And then I'm going to set a keyframe for scale, and after a couple of keyframes, I'm going to reduce the scale to about 70%. Okay, and next what you have to do is add the text layer. So I'm gonna use the font Origin Tech, and I'm gonna type in the MW Tech, which is the name of the channel, and then I'm gonna go ahead and align it. If you don't see the align panel, you can go to window and then open the align panel. Okay, and at about 3 seconds and 15 frames, I'm gonna set a keyframe to opacity, and after a couple of frames, I'm gonna set another keyframe and the opacity becomes 100. Open the text layer and then click animate and then select on tracking, and then you can increase the amount of tracking to about 14 the keyframe, and then after a couple of frames set it to 0, and this is how it looks. Okay, and select on the tracking keyframes, right click, go to keyframe assistant, click on easy ease. I'm gonna open the graph editor and change the graph to something like this. Do that for the logo layer 2. I'm gonna select the position and scale keyframes, easy ease them by clicking on F9, and then open the graph editor and then make it to something like this. As the next step, we have to do the glitch effect. So I'm gonna go ahead and select on the text layer and the logo layer, and then I'm gonna hit Ctrl Shift D to split them. Okay, once I've split them, I'm gonna right click them and then recompose them, and I'm gonna call it glitch comp. Okay, once I've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new solid layer, and I'm gonna drag and drop the fractal noise from the effects and presets library, and set the fractal type to max, set the noise type to block, open transform properties and uncheck uniform scaling, and increase the scale width to about 3000. Okay, and then I'm going to decrease the scale height. From that, select the evolution options, then right click on the evolution, type in the expression time star 1000 and select on the glitch comp layer and search for the displacement map effect. Set the displacement map layer to glitch and the displacement source to effects and mask. Once you've done that, click on the keyframe and make 2 keyframes for the maximum horizontal displacement and then the maximum vertical displacement. You can increase them and then play around with the values so that it makes up a nice glitch effect. You shift it a couple of keyframes forward and then set the values back to 0. And now you can see that a kind of good looking glitch has been created, and then copy the first 2 keyframes and then paste it back after those 2 keyframes, and make sure you select all the keyframes and right click them and click toggle hold keyframes, and then you get an animation that looks like this. Okay, now go ahead and do this a couple more times, and you're free to change the maximum horizontal and vertical values to whatever you want. Set the opacity to 100 at the beginning and then 0 at the end of those two keyframes, just like this. And then make sure you make those two keyframes to toggle hold to. And you can see there is an effect like with the glitch the logo disappears, and that is kind of what we want. And if I was lazy, I would have stopped the tutorial at this point, but we are gonna continue. The next part is creating the background. For the background you have to create a new solid and then draw some lines using the pen tool. Make sure you make the lines by clicking on the shift key on your keyboard, and then once you've created them, click somewhere else on your screen while clicking control, and then again select control and then select all the points and then move it around, or you can do it like this at the first place. Now go ahead and search for the Plexus effect once again and then drop it onto the layer. Next I'm gonna go ahead and pre-compose my layer, and I'm gonna call it Plexus lines. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna set a keyframe and points on each mask to about 25 at the beginning, and then after a couple of keyframes I'm gonna increase it to about 50. And now you can see the lines have been animated. And then like we did in the previous one, pre-compose it because we have to remove the red cross. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it the Plexus lines comp, and drag and drop the color key effect from the Effects and Presets library. Using the dropper tool, select the red color, and then I'm gonna pre-compose it, and then I'm gonna drop that effect, and then I'm gonna fill effect on it, and then I'm gonna set the color to black. And now I want the lines effect only once the stroke comes in. So I'm gonna hit the open square bracket button to bring it to the point of to bring it up to this point, and then I'm gonna set some keyframes to opacity so that it fades in, and also a keyframe to scale so that it looks like it shrinks. And then I'm gonna change the graph to something that looks like this, how to ease in them. And once you're done with that, I think our animation is complete. And feel free to play around with the values as to whatever you want, because it's your animation. Anyways, this is it for this tutorial, and I hope you learned how to make this awesome intro of MKBHD using After Effects. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at LicenDex, and also check out the MW Tech channel. The link will be in the description. Hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new tutorial. And as always, if you like this type of content, consider subscribing.